And hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Carry Out Conversations. My name is John.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Noah.
And it is so great to have you guys here with us again. Guys, I've really been thinking about a lot of stuff here recently, and we really have a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, don't we? With just the way this economy and stuff's going, the way that everything is just kind of like moving almost in the wrong direction. And I honestly think we need somebody to save us.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like every day just things get worse and worse, and it's destined to be that way. But, it's like it leads me into what we want to talk about today. The fact that we need a hero, and I don't just mean the great 80s song, which is a great one, by the way. But now, I will side note here just for a second. Dave, I pulled up earlier and we got ready to pull the stuff out of the car, and Dave is eating a hero.
A gyro.
Sorry, I guess it depends on where you're from. Which smelled really good, by the way.
Definitely not a gyro.
No, not a gyro. That's like some form of a dance move.
I don't know. I would have been here sooner, but I was in the drive-through line for like 15 minutes.
Hey, that's fine if it's worth waiting for. Where'd you get it from? Is it like somewhere around here?
Arby's.
Oh, from Arby's. Okay. I haven't had the Arby's one yet.
Is it good?
It's okay.
Really? Yeah.
I've been very impressed with Arby's recently.
It's been so long since I've had Arby's, I can't even remember.
Go back. They changed some of the things on their menu. It's still Arby's, but it's like better.
Mm-hmm. Now, I remember like growing up, okay, my mom used to work at Arby's when I was younger, and she used to she was one of the managers.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while we would be there after school, and we would have to wait until she got off of work, and we'd sit in there in the restaurant and stuff like that. And I remember there's a couple of people that were working the counters, absolutely loved me and my sister, and they would unintentionally mess up sandwiches, and we would get free sandwiches like the entire time we were there. And that was just great. It's like having the roast beef sandwiches and stuff like that. And it's like, that's just something I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, your mom worked at Arby's.
He just said that, Dave. That's
just
not really
that.
an insult.
Yeah,
it's just a statement.
That was just a statement. But, the one thing that and going on with sandwiches, the one thing that I've never actually tried is a hero sandwich.
I don't think I have either.
I couldn't even tell you what's in it.
I haven't had it.
Yeah. Like I always get told they're really good. We should really try them, but I've just never really tried it. But it doesn't matter whether you want a hero sandwich, a gyro, or a hero.
Mm-hmm.
We're all looking for something. It's like, but the thing about it is the need for this hero is not something that is recent. It's been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I was doing a little bit of research, and even though the name, the term superhero is fairly new, the actual phrasing of it, or the belief of a superhero, dates way back into the 5th, 6th century, and on up. Like you look at the different types of mythologies and things like that, those were considered heroes. They were considered superheroes because they had unnatural abilities, that type of thing. Kind of do a little bit of research on it here. It's like the term, or the word superhero, was first coined in 1899. But again, the myths have been around for a while, and they included such mythological creatures as Gilgamesh, which I didn't even know was really a thing. Like I've always heard the name, but I never really knew where it came from. But apparently it's a Mesopotamian, I cannot say that, a Mesopotamian mythological being. He was the master of animals, basically. Like he was not master of puppies. Dave's looking on his face. But I think back of Beastmaster, the old Schwarzenegger movie, and again, all I can remember in that movie is he had a ferret. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
I don't think I have either.
It's like a, what was it? It was like 80s ish, like late 70s, early mid 80s. Basically, it looked like Conan the Barbarian, which is another Schwarzenegger movie, but with animals.
Right.
Is kind of what it seemed like to me, but. That's a hero, a lot of people kind of look up to. Perseus was another one. He was the killer of Medusa. Greek mythology. Odysseus was from...
A lot of yeses.
Yes, a lot of yeses. It was from the Iliad, which I still haven't read yet. I probably should at some point. David, Slayer of the Giants. Of course, we know that, from the Bible.
Well, thank you.
Yes, David, you are a Slayer of Giants.
Wait, did you kill a giant?
You'll never know.
He killed a giant gyro in his car.
Yes.
True.
Sorry. But then there's, it even goes to like the demigods, which were we all know, like half man, half god, supernatural beings, that type of thing. Now, the first modern superhero actually stemmed from a real life group of vigilantes. I didn't know this until just recently, but they were a Western group called the Bald Knobbers.
That's the coolest, stupidest name ever.
Right?
It's like, you can't stop us. We're the Bald Knobbers.
Exactly.
It's like, you're the what? Should I be threatened by you?
Right. They were a group of men that they were known as the first like masked vigilantes, because they fought and often killed outlaws during their time frame. They even, going back and looking through a lot of like their historical things, they even chased Billy the Kid through most of his career. I don't think they're the ones that actually caught him at any point, but they chased him quite a few times. So that was kind of cool. But it was like those are the first masked superheroes is what people called them. And so it's like, it makes me think like about all of the different types of heroes that are out there. And, I could just go on and on if we really wanted to. The first superhero comic was in 1902 called Hugo Hercules.
Yep.
Apparently it did a 7 strip series in a newspaper in New York. It is a good-natured man endowed with superhuman strength. He wandered about town helping people with their problems and shocking them with his surprising displays of power.
Just like mows lawns very well and like
right.
It's like the best at sweeping.
He pushes the broom like none other. He was so strong he could pick up an elephant, kick a house like a football, wield an artillery cannon like a handgun, and lift a locomotive engine off the tracks and pull its cargo behind him at train speeds.
Couldn't Mr. Incredible do that?
Mr. Incredible cannot kick a house like a football.
Yeah, I don't think he could.
I mean,
like if you did if you did the calculations behind that, this guy would wreck a lot of superheroes.
Yes. He honestly would. But then again, just like the little kid, and we're all waiting for something amazing, I guess.
Yeah.
So
something amazing, I guess.
One of my favorite movies. I love that movie. Actually, I like the first one better than I like the second one. The second one was good, but
the second one's decent.
Yeah. The first one you can't beat it. Especially the very end when Jack finally gets his powers.
And he's literally a demon.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
Arguably, a lot of kids are. So
yes, that's very true too.
Yeah, but I've never seen a kid like literally become red and like jacked and like attack people.
That's true.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not hanging around
then
enough
again,
kids.
Yeah, I don't think you've hung around enough kids long enough.
Yeah, I don't have a kid, so I don't know.
Fair enough.
They're fun. They are fun. Kids are fun.
Mm-hmm.
And kids are always. Kids inspire us. More or less, like they inspire us to be better, to be heroes.
Yeah.
Especially once you have a kid that's looking up to you. That it's like I'll never forget. Like when my daughter just started kind of like, I first noticed that my daughter was looking at me, every day. It inspires you to become better. I know some people just don't.
They don't take the vocation seriously.
No, they really don't.
No.
You know, and that's the thing about it is like being a parent is a full-time job.
Sure.
Like it is a full-time job no matter what. You can't take a day off really. You know, and just like being a hero, you can't take that day off because somebody's always in need. So that leads me to a question that we have of why are heroes so important? Like, why do we need superheroes so bad?
I think it's because we see how lackluster we are, how lackluster the people around us are, and we like to, you know, specifically in fiction, we like to look up to these larger than life figures that embody everything we wish we could be and we wish the people around us could be. You know, so I think it's part of it is wish fulfillment, but I also think part of it is just we see the lack in those around us, and so we want to address that by creating someone like Batman who, you know, the villains are scared of, or someone like Superman who's stronger than any evil thing you could think of, or Captain America who literally punches Hitler, you know? So we make these like
I want to literally punch Hitler.
well, he kind of beat you to it.
Well, let's dig him up and do it again.
You think he's dead. No, I'm kidding.
He's rocking somewhere with
I saw him
Elvis.
at a bar in Argentina.
Goodness.
No, but I do think that it's superheroes just kind of fill in the gaps of what we lack ourselves in a way. Maybe that's not a perfect definition, but I think that gets at the gist.
Yeah, I think people generally need something to believe in, even if it is Batman. Like, they want to believe that no matter what hardship we happen to be going through, somehow somebody or something can make it better.
Batman
Right.
still loves you no matter what you're going through.
Yes.
Batman works in mysterious ways.
Oh, goodness. Well, you know, my thought on it, and I agree with both of you, my thought on it too, though, is like, okay, we want that personification of what a hero should be, but how many people sit back and be like, man, I wish somebody would be this way? You know, it's like, even you watch like these movies, and, you know, my one of my favorite things is like Spider-Man. Okay, the Tobey Maguire, the only Spider-Man. I don't like Tom Holland, or, you know,
I think we should nominate Spider-Man for president.
I think so too. I think he would definitely be okay with that. But you watch, like, okay, the first Spider-Man where the Green Goblin is blowing up the building, and like all of these party goers are like on top of the balcony, and it's about to crumble, and you hear somebody on the ground, somebody save them. And it's like, that's what a lot of people are like, though, is like, you know, instead of jumping into action, they're like, oh, somebody should do something.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like, why? Okay, if we want that personification, if we want that hero, why don't we take effect? Why don't we take that step and go in? You know, and, you know, it's like me, it's like I grew up in the South. I grew up, you know, I was a firefighter for a little while. You know, it was a volunteer fire department, but still, you know, it was a really cool job to have. And yeah, when you take firefighters and they literally walk themselves into a burning building or in a burning house or anything like that, it's like, you know, you kind of, to me, that kind of seems almost supernatural, because it seems like they have no fear. Now, being in that type of position, being next to a house that's like, you know, an inferno, that is a scary thing, honestly. You know,
not as scary as Noah's face.
That is true. Noah's face is pretty scary for the people who can't see it. Which, by the way, just a really side note, we are going to get our TikTok page back up and going again, and our Instagram and Facebook. Just bear with us on that one. We're taking our time with that.
Yeah.
We've got some things in the works that we're trying to do, but you know, it's like, you know, you talk about like firefighters, you talk about even, you know, police officers. Obviously, the most, you know, tragic but yet horrific accounts out there are, you know, 9/11. All of the firefighters and all the police officers that were, went into those buildings to try to save as many people as they could, and tragically lost their lives in that matter. But those are the actual heroes. Those are the ones that didn't sit back and say, "Oh, I wish somebody would do something." They actually went and did it. And I don't know. To me, it just seems like we as a people, we sit back, we want things to happen. We want somebody to save us. We want somebody to come out and be that hero. But yet nobody ever really takes that chance.
Well, I think it's fight or flight. Like, if you see a burning building, what's your instinct? Your instinct is to get as far away from it as you can.
I think that lends to what Jonathan was saying about it being not natural, right? It's there's something about that that's beyond just the base desire to be safe and away from danger. And so the impressive thing about it is that they're ignoring that and going anyway.
Yeah. And to me, that's what a true hero is. The type of person that takes that fight or flight and they choose fight every time. Because they know that other people need it. And it's like you see these videos all over Facebook, all over YouTube, TikTok and stuff like that, of these people doing like heroic things here and there, and it's like that's one time thing or whatever, and it's like that's great to be able to see stuff like that. But all I think about, and as much as I like the fact of these people that are doing things to save other people, all I can think about are the ones that sit back there recording this. They're the ones back there on their phone being like, "Oh man, look at this person about to get ran over by this big bus." And, that's what they're hoping for. That's what's sad about humanity right now, is we look for the danger and the death in it instead of...
We look for something sensational. We're looking for what's going to be interesting, what's going to... I hate to say it, but what's going to release dopamine? A huge explosion, or someone getting run over by a bus, or everybody making it out safe and everything's hunky-dory,
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
And I it kind of goes right into like, the whole thing of what we're talking about, like as far as like the superheroes and all these superhero movies. Like, so many people go and they watch these things, and I love superhero movies. Like, I absolutely love them. I love Superman. I love Batman. Even Green Lantern, even though, we all know Green Lantern just kind of sucks.
If you just shut your brain off and watch it, it's not that bad.
Hey, you can say the same thing about the Star Wars sequels.
That's very true. Once again, we're back to Star Wars. But
everything is Star Wars.
Star Wars sequels are bad, but they are not nearly as bad as people say they are.
That's a whole other discussion. Again, we will get into at some point. But we go to them, we watch these movies, and they're all about explosions and danger. And it's like, I just watched The Dark Knight again.
So good.
First time in like a couple of years that I've watched it. I absolutely love that movie.
I don't think I've actually seen it since like 2008 or something. Like,
dude,
not that long after it came out.
Go home and binge the Nolan trilogy.
Yes.
Do it. You will not regret it.
Yeah. Honestly, to me, that is the better Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And as much as I like the Ben Affleck Batman,
sure,
I'm glad he doesn't have his own movie sequence. He's in there like with like the Justice League and Batman versus Superman and things like that. But I'm so glad that they didn't actually give him his own trilogy, because I honestly don't think we could even handle that.
I vote Lego Batman.
Well, I think it was fine for...
That's one I haven't seen yet.
I was glad Batman didn't have like a live action solo movie until they put Robert Pattinson in, and I was very, even if the movie wasn't perfect, very impressed with his performance.
Yes,
very impressed.
I was too. I like Pattinson as Batman. And we will kind of get in this a little bit too, or maybe. But have you noticed like there are certain franchises that they try to adapt or readapt, and they pick a character, or they picked an actor that's good at one but not the other. For example, Robert Pattinson, amazing Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible Bruce Wayne.
Sure.
absolutely did not like him in any of the actual Bruce Wayne scenes. As Batman, he was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Ben Affleck was a very good Bruce Wayne. Mediocre Batman.
Yeah.
We talked about it here a little bit on Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, amazing Peter Parker. Spider-Man was a little...
Yeah. And then Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man, but he was too cool. He was not nerdy enough to be a good Peter Parker.
Right, to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So
you put them together.
Yeah.
Then I nominate Kevin Conroy, Batman, animated Batman from the 90s. He was a good Bruce. He was a good Batman.
Very true.
He was a good evil Batman. He was a good, multiple Batmen.
Very, very true.
He was a good old Bruce to Terry McGinnis. He's yeah.
Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
That was a true hero for our age.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up every day watching that show.
Yeah.
I'm even going back and watching it again, here recently just because I liked it so much.
He was also Batman in the Arkham games, which I grew up playing. So
yeah, I went back and binge watched the Batman animated series and Batman Beyond a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And and again, it's like it's just that's our need. It's like we talk about this and it's like, okay, yeah, we need a better Peter Parker to a better Spider-Man. It's like if we could take Andrew Garfield, if we could do like what the Power Rangers did and take, the American actors, such as Tobey Maguire, and put it with the superhero actor of Andrew Garfield and mix those two together, that would be an amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, they did it in the new.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, the new one.
It was
I haven't
really
seen
good.
yet
It was
either.
actually really good.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that one yet. I'm behind on the Marvel movies.
That's the last one I'm gonna watch. So I'm done. I'm out.
But it's like the same thing like with the Power Rangers. I grew up watching Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And it's like you see these American teenagers, with attitude, that are out there and they're kicking rear, and then it's like they change and you can definitely tell it's not them in the action sequences, but it's like when you find out like what they did, it makes sense.
If you watch it closely, the frame rate of the footage and the aspect ratio doesn't even match.
Oh no,
the editing is actually a little harsh.
Yeah, not at all. But I will tell you, and this is kind of a sidetrack here for a second. One of my favorite screw ups, and I've been looking for it, and I think they actually scrubbed it from the series, is there was a scene where the Megazord was fighting I believe he was fighting the Dragon Zord at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like going at it with each other, and the camera pans out, and all you see is this full-grown man working the Dragon Zord like this, and it's just for a split second, and then it cuts back again, and it's like I don't think they actually caught it until just recently, because I've been going and looking back through the footage trying to find it, and I cannot find that scene anymore. I know it was there. It's not one of those Mandela effects or anything. It's like I know that scene was there. And as soon as I find it, I will post it on our TikTok page and stuff just to prove that I'm not wrong. But the Power Rangers were some of my heroes growing up.
Well, the Power Rangers show show something interesting, is they're teenagers. These are not adults. They're not grown up. They're still kids. They're 16, 18, between 16 and 18. They're still kids.
And so they were easier for kids to relate to.
Well, sure, but
Very
it's
true.
the thing of, the example of young people look up to heroes in a special way. A lot of the heroes we have now, we were introduced to when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as we grow up, but also even when we're kids, we need to try even though we don't have powers, we need to try and embody the good characteristics we see in those heroes.
Sometimes, I mean, we need to be able to embody those.
It's a process.
It is a process, and it's something that again, we touched on
Are
that.
you saying we need to be more like Power Rangers?
No, I'm saying you need to be more like the hero you look up to, whoever that may be.
Batman.
Okay, no.
Then be Batman.
No, but why is Batman a great goal? He is literally the peak of human physical fitness and wealth.
And wit.
And intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And ability to get chicks.
Well, that kind of goes along with
Actually,
wealth.
Batman really
no, because like if you can't
relationships, like all of his relationships fail.
Okay, but he
wasn't
didn't say
talking about
relationships.
relationships.
He said just picking up chicks, picking up girls. We apologize.
broads.
Oh, jeez. But okay, we talk about being the embodiment of the hero that we look for, that we're looking up to. Let me ask you guys this: what would it be like if superheroes were real? How do we think the world would be today?
I think the mortality rate would actually skyrocket.
True.
Very true.
Have you guys seen the show The Boys?
No.
No? Okay. Have you seen Kick-Ass?
No.
Okay, never mind. All right. Well, essentially, they kind of, these media kind of point out that regular people doing superhero stuff can have consequences, but also that if superheroes were real, the idea that people with all these powers would all be good people.
It's very slim.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you really had, X power, would you be a good person, or would the power corrupt you? Because we talk about political power corrupting, but I think there's also an argument to be made that if you're superpowers, maybe that would corrupt you also and make you arrogant. Not for everybody, but I think for most people it would.
Yeah, that is just the natural tendency of humans. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we tend to kind of want what we want and try to get it no matter what. I think if we did have superpowers, or if superheroes were actually real, obviously where you have superheroes, you have super villains. It's like those are always going to be concise with each other. I mean,
if I could use the Force, a lot of my former coworkers would have been choked many times.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like, what would you do if you were Superman? Well, I'd put on a mask and I'd rob a bank. Like, I would.
Gee, I wonder who it could be with the laser vision and the super strength. Who could that possibly be? Could it be Superman? I don't know.
What are they
Cyclops.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
X-Men.
What are they going to do? Stop me?
Well, that was actually a plot arc in Justice League Unlimited, the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Superman becoming evil?
Well, sort of like, what if all these superheroes turned on America?
Yeah.
That was a huge plot arc.
Good luck.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like
the Americans would get wrecked.
Oh yeah.
Essentially,
and
that's
they did.
What happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got to the point where, I mean, superhumans kind of just took over and just ruled. And and that's the thing that I think there too, is like, that is something unfortunate, but I think humanity in itself would deem them as gods.
Mm-hmm.
They, it's like, we talk about religion a little bit, and we are going to kind of get into that more this season, as far as like religion and stuff like that. But it's like, you look at all of these, heroes and stuff, and again, even in the superhero or the Superman universe, there are multiple times where he is referenced as a god. He is, one of the scenes, I know it's like, again, I'm bringing it more to like the live action part, but there's one scene in the Justice League movie where, there's like a scene where he's got his black suit on, and it's like a vision or whatever. And he is hovering above all of these people that are bowing down to him, because they reverence him as a god because of his powers. You even go to the Marvel side and you see Loki, and he, causes people to bow down to him because they reverence him as a god. Now, granted, in the mythology, Loki is a god, the god of mischief. But it's like, as humans, as humanity goes, I don't think we would be able to cope with it.
And that's why we need the Ghostbusters. Those are the real heroes because they can take down a god, or at least the demigod.
That's true.
Gozer is a low tier god.
Yes, he was. He was kind of like the C actor.
Yeah, literally, he's just like, I'm a lizard, and then
he's like the Kardashians of gods.
Just a gross, leathery creature.
Like I said,
the Kardashians.
The Kardashians. Oh man, but yeah, it's like, it seems like it's always where it seems to go.
Yeah.
Again, we look for somebody to praise and worship for doing things that we won't do. But, it's like, and I am going to kind of take it kind of religious here for a second of, we look for those super beings. We look for the Superman. We look for Thor. We look for, Captain America and those types of things. But yet we won't give reverence to a creator that has literally created everything that we have, that's literally created everything around us, and we just kind of like pass that off as, oh well, that's not necessary, but we want a superhero.
We'll send the Ghostbusters after him.
I think that's something to do with humans want we want God to be like us rather than us to be like him. I think we want a God that we can look at and touch and, relate to. And there's a sense within Christianity, you have that concept via the incarnation, but not in the same sense where we kind of want, Superman, Batman, Loki, Thor, these characters. We've seen their flaws. We want an imperfect God. And I think there's some wrong behind that. Is you're trying to take something greater and make it lesser so you're more comfortable with it rather than the other way around and adapting to it.
Yeah. I think, too, another part of it that, kind of falls right along with that is you kind of said that. It's like we want to see, we want to be able to touch, feel, that being. And, we look for, when something bad's happening, for Superman to swoop down and save the day. We look for, Batman to, beat up, the bad guys when things are going wrong. And it's like a lot of times when things go wrong in our life, we look and we're like, okay, where is God? Because, it's like we're so sensitized, not even desensitized. We're so sensitized to the fact of these superheroes and these movies and comics that are just coming in to save the day, that when it doesn't happen in our time, we question, okay, is God even real?
Sure.
It's like I've not gonna lie, I've been there. Where it's like I've been going through problems and I've questioned. It's like, okay, is God even around me? Again, I am a Christian. I do believe in God. I know that I'm saved. I know that I'm going to heaven. But there are times like where I sit back and I'm like, okay, where is God during all of this? And and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to question. As long as you don't doubt to the point where you give up your faith.
Well, I feel to that point that you can't have true faith unless your faith is tested now and again.
Well, you look at the example of David. Obviously, David's a flawed man, but in the Psalms, David always says,
"Not you, David,
not you, the old king of Israel." But so he in the Psalms, there's Psalms of mourning, where he's, like after he lost one of his sons, he's like, "God, where are you?" He's like, I'm weeping daily, like I'm begging for some relief from this pain, and it's not going. Like, where are you? And that's kind of the thing with, David is, like you said, he's a hero. He's a flawed hero, and heroes are indeed flawed. And that's the difference between God and what we call a hero. God is by definition perfect, and heroes are better than us, but still flawed, which is shown when humans try and mimic heroes, and we do so imperfectly.
Very true. You look like you had something to say.
Yeah, so I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to work it in, but I wanted to bring up the fact that people often revere, their favorite musicians as heroes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. It's like, I think anything with like a celebrity status almost becomes a hero. Like they hear the Idol.
Billy Idol?
Well, at least not American Idol. Or Billie Eilish, if you want to take it the Billy way.
But yeah, because a lot of think of your favorite musician. You probably if you play an instrument, you probably look up to someone else who plays that same instrument, and you're like, oh my God, they can do this so well. Why can't I do this?
Right.
And going back to what Noah was saying, people tend to imitate their heroes in flawed ways.
Right.
That's especially true with music.
Yeah.
Drug, sex, and rock and roll, baby.
I mean, that's what some people, account for. And, it's like you take that celebrity status and you give them almost godlike, status in people's minds. I mean,
but at the same time, a famous musician is potentially someone you could actually meet in real life.
Right.
Name any famous musician. If you got enough money, you could, get a backstage pass or something to one of their concerts, assuming they're still alive.
That's very true. That's very true. I've gotten to meet some of my, musical. I don't want to say idols, but
people you look up to.
People that I look up to in the musical sense.
Yeah.
One of the greatest ones that I got to meet was Charlie Daniels.
Who?
Charlie Daniels. Devil Went Down to Georgia.
He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind.
Sorry, guys.
Oh. He was way behind.
Sorry, guys.
So he was willing to make a deal.
Sorry, guys.
Wow. Anyway, so yeah, I got to meet him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool to meet him. Like, he was a really nice guy. I got to meet Trace Adkins.
I think he's a cool dude.
That dude is awesome.
Yeah,
he's big. Like, he is big. I'll just put it that way.
B with 3 B's and 8 G's.
Oh man, he is big. And it's so funny because his mom was at the show as well.
This tiny little lady.
She had to be like, maybe 5 foot something.
Wow.
And it was just the funniest thing just to see like her standing next to him. And but yeah, I got to meet him a little bit. I got to meet like a couple of other people through the old job that I worked at. And it was a lot of fun. But you see these people and you think that it's like, these are people that I can actually meet, somebody that, is a human. But then you look at some people, like the way that they reverence them. And I'm just going to bring it back to that. It's like the way they reverence them is almost godlike,
Taylor Swift is not a god. She's cool, but she is not a god.
No, she's the anti-god. I'm sorry. I don't like Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
No.
I like some of her old music, but I'm not a fan of her personality. It's one of those things where you kind of sell yourself out to an industry just for money. And you get the money, but you also, she has all like these.
Speaking of which, if anyone wants to give us a bunch of money and,
we'll sell out.
Yeah, take creative control of our podcast, we're open for that. What were you saying, Noah? I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying how selling out is bad.
Speaking of corporate sellouts.
Speaking of not selling out. No, but I was just saying that, she kind of changed her whole image for money, and that's her prerogative to do. Fine. But she has all these like young, impressionable female fans, and the way she dresses, the way she acts, the way she treats relationships as ways to entertain herself rather than ways to build connections. We have enough problems with that in the modern world as is. And I just don't think she's a good example for these young impressionable girls who look up to her, and now they're going to grow up and want to be like Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And that is kind of the sad thing, and it kind of brings up a little bit more of what we were talking about, like what if superheroes were real, like what would happen to humanity basically. And it's you look at these celebrities that take their status and they use it for, some people try to use it for good, some people don't. Some people are just in it for the fame and the fortune.
That's why if I had to refer to one musician as a hero, it would probably be Dave Grohl. I want to be like that dude.
See, what I like about Dave Grohl is the fact that you don't hear anything about him outside of his music. Like, he's there to play, to sing, and that's it. You look at these people, and again, it's like, we'll go back to him for a second, but it's like, you look at these people like, what's his name? The dude from Green Day.
Billy Joe Armstrong.
Billy Joe Armstrong came out when the whole Roe versus Wade thing was overturned. He came out and said, I am officially denouncing my American citizenship until they overturn their overturn, that type of thing. And a lot of people were just like, who cares?
Bye.
Yeah. I mean, that's somebody who's using their power, using their celebrity status.
Platform.
Yeah, they use their platform for, what they think is good. And I mean, yeah, if you stand for something, that's fine. But the thing about David Grohl is the guy has been in a few bands, a few fairly well-known bands. If you don't know who he is, Nirvana, Queens of the Stone Age, Foo Fighters,
Tenacious D.
He was the drummer for Tenacious D.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, Tenacious D is really just Jack Black and Kyle Gass.
Very true.
But when they needed a session drummer, he was there. He was on their first 2 albums. I can't remember specifically, but
okay,
yeah.
See, I guess I've never really listened to Tenacious D.
Well, he was in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen.
He was the devil in the movie.
I never saw the movie either.
And in the music video for the song Tribute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I like Jack Black to a certain point, and then I'm just whatever.
Yeah. I love Jack Black, but I feel about Jack Black how other people do about Adam Sandler. Everyone else loves Adam Sandler, and I'm like, meh. But I love Jack Black. Yeah. I think he's way funnier than Adam Sandler.
And see, that's the thing about these celebrities. Quite a few of these celebrities, they're there. You don't hear anything really about them outside of the fact of they got a new movie coming out, they got a new song, a new show, whatever, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I believe celebrities should be. Sure. Same thing like when we were talking about superheroes. They're there to save the day. They're not there to be worshipped. They're not there to be, some, God point. They're there to do their job and move on.
Batman's not making a huge speech about the flawed political climate or anything like that.
Right.
Batman doesn't do politics.
No, he doesn't.
He's an apolitical bat creature.
Yes. And it's like those types of things. And so it leads me into the next point that I want to come across because, to move the show along a little bit we'll talk about superheroes first. In the mythical sense, who is your favorite superhero?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a very good question because it kind of depends on how you qualify that. Because I mean, there's the classics: Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you could feasibly mention anyone from the movie The Incredibles. Does Luke Skywalker count as a superhero? I mean, he's in a different universe, but he has powers. But
he technically is a hero. Yeah, he technically is a superhero in a sense. And that's the thing is like there's so many to choose from.
Okay, I got 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. One I'm gonna say because it's the real answer, and the other I'm gonna say because you guys won't know the first one. And most of the audience won't know the first one. So the first one is Robot Guilliman. He's the son of the Emperor in Warhammer, and he launched the Indomitus Crusade and retook half of the Imperium of Man. Go Empire. Okay, second one, the Red Hood. He's one of the sons of Batman, and he is Batman, but with a gun who kills people.
Technically, he's not a superhero. He was more of a villain that was wanting to do good, but just couldn't bring himself back to it at that point. It's like he had done so much wrong that he couldn't morally bring himself back to the realm of a superhero status.
Mm. Yeah, Goku then.
Goku. Oh well, I guess that's one.
Yeah, that's something. I don't know. I mean, Luke Skywalker is extremely flawed if you think about it.
Very true.
Superman and Batman seem to have mostly altruistic tendencies, but both of them have quite a few character flaws as well.
Like they keep trying to kill each other.
Well, that Superman's a bit of a hothead at times, and Batman, as I mentioned before, he sucks at relationships. He sucks at getting close to people.
Very true. Yeah, I mean, that guy went through so many Robins, just just couldn't keep him going.
Hey, 3 out of 4 lived.
I guess you're not doing as bad.
One of them's a villain.
Very true.
Why does Batman wear dark clothing? Because he doesn't want to get shot. Why does Robin wear bright colored clothing? Because Batman doesn't want to get shot.
Oh, man.
Hey, Batman, why is my suit not bulletproof but yours is?
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it, kid.
Yeah. Just go flutter over there for a little bit.
I love how Batman was like, "Oh, this kid's an acrobat. He can fight." It's like those
Right.
are not always connected.
Wow, you can flip? Okay.
But like when I was a kid, that made sense. Like I was watching the movie, I'm like, "Oh, he does the ring stuff. He can fight."
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was actually kind of the concept behind the Power Rangers. Kimmy was just a gymnast.
Very true.
And that's why the Red and Green Ranger were way better than her. They were martial artists. You can't be the captain of the Power Rangers when you're a gymnast.
I think Trini was the best.
Is that the Asian
miss
one?
her. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss her too. I wish that is somebody that got taken just a little too soon.
Yeah. What year was that? Like 01, 02, something like that?
Like
She died in 2001?
Yeah.
She died the year I was born.
Wow.
It's your fault.
Yep. Way to go, Noah. You killed off a hero.
I didn't kill the Yellow Ranger.
You killed a hero.
She must have been young.
I
think she was.
She was like 27.
27?
Yeah, she was young. She was the younger of the original Power Rangers.
Oh wow.
All the rest
I didn't
of
even
them.
know that.
Yeah, all the rest of them were at least 19 to 20 at the time. She was right around 17.
Wow.
So she was the younger of them all. And yeah, unfortunately she was taken too soon.
Wow.
But I think my favorite superheroes is one, since we were just talking about it, Tommy. Again,
the
Green
Tommy.
Ranger.
the Green Ranger, White Ranger,
who has also left us too soon.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
also left us. It's sad because a lot of the greats, what we consider the greats growing up, are gone.
What kind of a world is this with no Batman and no Green Ranger?
Right, we're doomed.
Nobody's
that's the
safe.
reason why this world's gone. Gone to the pit so much. But yeah, the Tommy, because you could see not just the character arch throughout the series, but the fact that he had his flaws, and no matter how much he kept coming back to them, as the evil Green Ranger, and there for a little bit as the White Ranger, kind of turned bad a little bit. You see him always striving for good.
Yeah.
Which is something that a lot of superheroes don't.
He was also always shipped with whoever the leading female cast member was at the time.
Kimmy.
Right. Yeah, Kim.
First Kimmy and then Kat.
Yep.
Who's Kat?
She was the second Pink Ranger after Kim left.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
I actually kind of like Kat a little better than Kim.
What?
But
Is it because Kim's boring and a bad actress?
she was not a bad actress. She is not a bad actress, although I haven't seen her in much of anything else. But again, my second favorite superhero would be Green Arrow, and a lot of people kind of shove him under because it's like, oh, he's just another billionaire with a bow and arrow. But again, it's that character arch of this guy went through so much. I mean, he's overshadowed by Batman, unfortunately, because Batman was in the in the League. He was in the Justice League. He did go through the League of Shadows and things like that. But then here comes Oliver Queen, kind of not doing the same thing. He was kind of forced into a lot of it. And he overcame that, again, he overcame that evil of, wrong, and turned everything that he learned to the better. Plus Batman never really killed anybody. And yeah, Green Arrow's body count is a little high when you really think about it.
Sure.
But the fact that he went from all of that into, he overcame that bit of darkness in his life and came to the sense of like, okay, I have a gift. I'm going to use it for the better. To me, that's hero status.
Sure.
So if we're using that kind of criteria, like went through a dark character arc and came out with redemption, I'd have to nominate Shira Hall, specifically from the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited cartoons, because basically she betrayed the entire Earth, and over time she was pretty repentant of it, and eventually she was welcomed back into the Justice League after leaving. So,
sorry,
go watch those cartoons.
Who is that?
Hawk Girl.
Oh, Hawk Girl.
Hawk Girl. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot of people know
by her name.
Yeah. Even Hawk Girl, she's kind of like one of those that's just
I forgot
there.
She's in the Justice League.
Yeah. The Justice League is actually pretty
Huge.
Pretty big when you really think about it. Again, all you ever see are the originals. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, those types of things. Even Green Lantern was, a part of it, part of the original, The Flash, those types of things. They were like the original members. But then it's like when you really dive into it, no, the Justice League was pretty substantial. They were actually a little bit more inviting than the Avengers was. Because the Avengers was like, nope, we're going to try to kill you first. And it's like, oh, we can't kill you. Okay, now you can join us. Justice League was like, you have a superpower. Okay.
That should be a prerequisite to get hired in at work. We're going to try to kill you first.
And if you survive,
you're in.
If you survive this job interview, you've succeeded in this job interview.
I mean, that would be a fast food restaurant. That's what that would be.
Because that way you're testing the things you need for fast food, like dexterity and like endurance and
that's true.
Fast hand movements.
That is true. So
will to live.
All right, let's turn it this way. Just the will to live. Yes.
Don't fast food restaurants not want you to have a will to live?
Well, they don't want you to have it, but you have to have that will to live.
You have to have perseverance
to last.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some people that just just should not be touching food.
If you work in the food industry, try and get out.
Yes.
It's the worst place to work.
But then again, if you work in the food industry, you already know that.
Yeah.
And you either love your job or you have nowhere else to go, which we are very sorry for. But let me bring it to this here just a moment of, we talk about superheroes. What is an actual hero? Like, who is somebody that you look up to? Because I know, Dave, you said something about, David Grohl.
Yeah.
Is that like a personal hero for you, and why?
In some ways, yes. I mean, the thing about him is I really personally didn't take notice of him or his music until the last 2 to 3 years of my life. Mm-hmm. But the more I learn about him, like, he's done a lot of humanitarian things. He personally took part in some disaster relief. He has had a very rough past, and he still came out of it. What song was it? I can't remember what song. Oh, it was "Learn to Fly." Was about his past with drug addiction and that. And now, like, if you watch, some of the things he's done, like, he gave a speech at a funeral. He threw a 6-hour memorial concert unfortunately for Taylor Hawkins, who also left us way too soon. The Foo Fighters drummer. For those of you who don't know, you kind of learn that he's actually a very emotional and real person. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he just keeps going, and he, in a way, he uses his powers, he uses his money and his influence for good as much as he can. Mm-hmm. Especially to encourage young musicians. not to give up and stuff.
Right.
That to me, encouraging people to pursue their passions and using your own money and your own sway to provide humanitarian relief, those are heroic things to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, sorry, I literally, for some reason I'm blanking on his name. Robin Williams. Robin Williams for me is kind of just someone I look like for multiple reasons. Not just because he was kind, like he genuinely loved people, even though we know he was going through dark stuff. For years. And but he genuinely loved people. He genuinely loved making people laugh. I look up to him for with comedy and just how to treat people. But the main thing is the movie Dead Poets Society, and his character in that is one of the. It's not the only thing, but it's one of the things that made me want to teach, and made me want to get into education. And so I just really, really look up to him, because everybody watches that movie and they're like, I wish I could have a teacher that, doesn't not have me work, but teaches me in a way that gets me excited about learning and makes me fall in love with the subject I otherwise wouldn't care about, like poetry.
Yeah. No, I get you for sure. I think one of mine, and it's going to be kind of weird, but I just actually kind of realized it within the past, month or so. Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why is I watched the documentary, The Last Dance on Netflix. Very good. If you guys haven't seen it, it talks about the 97, 98 Bulls, and their 6th championship that they were striving for. And during that time, there were so many things that kind of came up with him. And I'm one of those that's I will respect celebrities more if you just do your job. Don't come out and try to, again, we talked about, don't use your platform for political gain or anything like that. Just come out and do your job. And there was a moment where I believe it was Georgia. I think it was Georgia. No, I'm gonna mess that up. There was a senator that was going running for office, and it was a black man, African American, however guys want to say that, right, for political correctness, but he was running for office, and everybody was like, "Oh, Michael Jordan, he's the he's the idol, he's the icon right now. He needs to be the one and just go out and promote this guy. He needs to be because of the race thing and the fact that this guy was a Democrat and things like that." And one of Michael Jordan's quotes that he said, because he had just launched one of his newer shoes through Nike, but one of the quotes that he said, he goes, "Why would I just endorse one person? Republicans buy Nikes too." And it was just one of those, he, even during the show, he came out and said it. He's like, my goal was to play basketball. That's all I wanted to do. It's I don't want to use it for anything else, and to me, that is a respect that I will give anybody, and it's I know that's just, I guess if I really had to really think about it, that's the only one that really comes to mind, because I can just think of so many others that just use their platform for too many wrong things. Again, my arch villain, I guess, or the villain to that one is LeBron James. Cannot stand LeBron James, and I don't care if this ever gets to his ears. I doubt it ever will, but I cannot stand LeBron James simply because, one, he sucks as a basketball player. 2, he sucks as an actor. If you've watched Space Jam, the new Space Jam,
I haven't.
Yeah, it's good in the sense that it makes fun of him as he's there. It actually makes fun of him.
Movie sucks. They censored Lola.
Jeez. But then you go to look back at it, and there are things that he has tried to use his platform for. One instance is here a while back there was a picture of Jerry Jones. He is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. A picture showed up here recently that somebody dug up that he was there in the, what was it? He was in Little Rock, Arkansas during the segregation or desegregation, when they started allowing African Americans to go into Little Rock High School.
Mm-hmm.
Big thing, very big news story. They had the National Guard there. I mean, these people were in danger at the time, and Jerry Jones just happened to be there. You know, of course, he was part of it. He's changed a lot since then, but this picture shows up out of nowhere. Okay, move forward a little bit to where the Lakers just got done playing. Whether they lost or won, I have no idea. LeBron James is in an interview, and they're asking him about the game. You had 14 points and blah blah blah. How does this toward your team? Well, I don't want to talk about that. Well, you did this, and such and such teammate had this many points. What are your thoughts about that? I don't want to talk about that. You guys don't need to be asking me these questions. What you need to be asking me is how I feel about the Jerry Jones picture. Literally had no point of even bringing that up, but he did it just because of his status.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that makes me lose respect. I do not respect him one bit. But when you have somebody who has, such an icon status as Michael Jordan, and he literally comes out and he's like, Republicans buy Nikes too,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that he doesn't care who you are. Granted, that's him making money, but he's there to do his job, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what's most important, is you do your job. And no matter how big of a status that you get, that's what you're there to do.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's one of my favorites. But,
yeah, I think it's a respectable quality to be mission focused,
mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So kind of bringing this in just a little more of, again, these people have this status of, superhero quality and what we think is superhero quality. I mean, come on. Also, who else can jump from the free throw line and, slam it? People can, but this was a man who did it way before anybody else did. And, it's like, I think about that, and, he is the master of flight, basically what they say as far as Jordan goes. Some people would consider that a superpower. And so it kind of brings me into this thought of, if you had one superpower in this world, what would it be? Just one.
Unlimited income. And let me tell you why. It would be, well, the ability to create income, rather. And the reason is not so I can go be a millionaire, but so that I can hire a translation team to do all of the translation work I want to get done, and make publishing those books and republishing other books that are expensive for cheaper, so I can help resourcement in my field. That's what I want.
But you do know that you can achieve that superpower, don't you?
To a lesser
being able to
a lesser degree
generate
now.
Income. It's called a job.
I have a job. I'm about to have two. Hopefully. But I mean the thing of like, because right now, even if things go well and I'm able to do a lot of the things I want to do, I will never have the funds to do as much as I would like to do with it. And so if I had the funds, I would, employ people to do that type of work to get that stuff out there, just because that's a passion of mine. So I wouldn't go like buy an Audi and a mansion. I'd probably buy like just, a $150,000 house and get a used 2015 car instead of a used 2010.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right, Dave.
I think mine would have to be telekinesis. Just, oh, I'm hungry. Well, the fridge is just going to automatically open and whatever food I want is going to fly out and land in my hands, And, the aforementioned force choking thing.
Yeah.
You can eat sushi without chopsticks.
Chopsticks will just work themselves.
No, you just pick up the sushi.
Yeah, that's the way I eat it anyway.
What?
Yeah.
I don't use chopsticks.
I don't ever use chopsticks either.
Okay, that's a problem for another podcast.
Yes. Yes. Honestly, and it's funny that I asked this question because I honestly don't even know what mine would be. I would say to be invisible, but it's kind of the way that I am anyway.
Oh.
So, no, I honestly, I really think that would be it. I think it would be invisibility, just because of the fact of, you can escape when you need to, and you can sneak up on people when you have to. And
so you're going to go on a crime spree.
I would not say that, but I would not deny that either. I could help Dave. I mean, I could help Noah with his potential income problem.
Okay, wait. Let me rephrase that. I do not have an income problem. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay translators problem.
Well, just become Batman.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
it's just that simple.
Let me go do that.
And see, I could help Dave with his telekinesis problem because
you could just give him things he wants.
He doesn't realize that it's really just me just bringing them over to him.
Yes, but then you'd have to start choking people.
I don't see a problem with that either. I know that's a question that always gets brought up. Like, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Glad we finally brought it up on the show, though.
On the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's like, and for those that are listening, let us know what you think. Let us, on our TikTok page or Facebook or whatever.
How many people would you choke?
Yes, how many people would you choke if you had telekinesis powers? So, all right, guys. Last question.
Okay.
And this is the most important one that I could really think of.
Okay.
DC or Marvel?
Since I don't know very much about Marvel, I'm going to have to go with DC.
Dark Horse Comics.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
Is that a possible option?
That is. It's always an option.
Okay, because Dark Horse Comics has two of my favorite heroes. Spawn. Okay. And also Guts from Berserk. So Guts and Spawn.
And Hellboy.
Oh, yeah, and Hellboy, you're right.
Hellboy is Dark Horse.
Yeah, so Dark Horse Comics are very underrated, very good.
I really wish Dark Horse, we really wish they were more of a powerhouse, but just like their name, they are kind of the Dark Horse where, not a lot of people know them.
But they're great.
They're great, yeah. Once you really get to know their characters, they're really amazing.
Yeah.
I'm DC all the way. I like Marvel, but yeah, to me DC is just the better. Because
you can't top Batman.
No, you can't.
I mean,
except for Guts or Spawn.
That's true. Or Hellboy. Okay, so carrying on with that. And who do you think would win a fight between Batman and Iron Man?
Oh, Iron Man, dude.
Why?
Are you kidding me? He has which Iron Man? Because
Iron Man.
I mean, they're both millionaires with gadgets,
right? No, because I don't mean
exactly.
like regular Mark 42 Iron Man's gonna get destroyed. But like his nanotech crazy beat the heck out of Superman suit. Nah.
Well, he didn't fight Superman. He fought the Hulk. Because
not the Hulkbuster. The one I'm talking about stronger. He has like a white. So he has like a white suit. It's like a white not like nanotech, but it's like a some type of liquid metal he uses.
Okay.
And it's like really powerful.
Okay.
So I think he would just outpower Batman. But if Batman had prep time, Batman would just make a suit better because he's smarter than Tony Stark, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Batman still has his wit. Batman would just lure him towards an electromagnet and be like, push a button, like, check out my electromagnet. You're stuck now. Bye.
That's very true.
He wouldn't just leave him. He'd slit his throat with a batarang.
That's a little dark even for Batman.
But he is the Dark Knight.
Yeah, you can't call yourself the Dark Knight without
one.
breaking some ankles.
Right. Yeah, I have to go with Batman just because, I mean, when you look at it, Tony Stark, Iron Man relies on his suit.
He's not a good fighter.
Without his suit, he's not much.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman can use just about anything to get the job done.
In fact, there's an episode of Batman Beyond where Terry has to fight the bat suit as himself.
So yeah,
and wins.
Isn't the whole point of Batman Beyond that the bat suit kind of does it for him to some extent?
That's a plot element, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Okay. Yeah, I still haven't seen Batman Beyond yet.
You should see Batman Beyond.
It's pretty good.
I plan on it. I plan on seeing it. I just haven't started it yet. I want to get through the Kevin Conroy again before I get into anything else.
Batman Beyond was too short.
Batman Beyond.
That is true. I do know that part. I do know that part.
Yeah.
Okay. So Superman and Captain America.
Superman. Easy dub.
Why?
Because he's like Captain America is a super soldier, but Superman could literally just pick him up and then fly him into space. He doesn't have to hit the shield. He can just pick him up.
Okay. I mean, they both have super strength. Granted,
he can fly him into the sun and then be stronger after.
That's kind of true.
That is true. Yeah. I guess that wouldn't be much of one.
Yeah, Captain America is still a human.
Very true.
And Superman is a Kryptonian.
The problem with Superman is the writing around him's weird. Like some days he can just be whatever he wants to be if he feels like it, and some days he destroys a galaxy with a sneeze in one comic. Mm-hmm. Like he's way overpowered.
Okay, so let me bring it to this one then. What about Superman or Hulk?
Superman.
Again, Hulk, the madder he gets, the stronger he gets. You got to remember, this dude literally ripped apart a planet just for the fun of it.
But he can't fly.
I argue Superman throws him into the sun in his sleep.
I think it would make him more mad again.
I don't think he'd be awake.
Actually, here's how you defeat the Hulk. You just get him high. Get that dopamine going. He can't get angry.
Yeah, literally just get a dart gun and shoot him, but it's just morphine.
Get him on some shrooms or something.
Yeah, why didn't Tony Stark should have thought, wait a minute. No. Major plot problem. Tony Stark could make gas bombs. Why doesn't he have a sedative for the Hulk? Or crazy morphine injector claws? I
actually think he did, and I don't think it worked.
Well, we should have just used morphine then instead of some other crap.
I think he basically sneezed it off and went on another rampage, if I remember right. There's something in the comics about that. Okay. This is for one of our listeners. You know who you are.
Oh.
Yes. Okay, so I have a friend that's down south that has listened to the show quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I really hope he listens to the show because he can answer all of these questions basically because this guy is a comic book genius. Just about, and when I say that, he has every single issue or had every single issue of the Robin comics. And so when it comes to superheroes, when it comes to the comic books and stuff like that, this guy he's a genius when it comes to it. So maybe he can answer that question for us, and we will get back to you guys whenever we do hear this again. So, all right, last one. Green Arrow or Hawkeye?
Green Arrow.
And why?
Because Green Arrow has Green Arrow. So Hawkeye is kind of like an assassin that happens to have a bow and arrow. And Green Arrow is he has more powerful arrows too. He has doesn't he have didn't Batman make him a kryptonite arrow and like some other stuff? Like, doesn't he just have better tech? And isn't he like just stronger? Because Oliver has like feats that are insane that Hawkeye can't do.
Oliver can actually fight hand-to-hand combat.
And Hawkeye isn't really.
Hawkeye can, but he relies on his tech. Now he does have multiple tech arrows. Like he has tracers, he has missile arrows, he has exploding arrows, incendiaries. You know, he has those things.
He doesn't have a punching arrow like Green Arrow does.
Why do you need a punching arrow?
Yeah, I don't. He did.
I thought Hawkeye was a medic in the Korean War.
Was he?
See, that I'm not sure.
He aged very well. Now he looks like Jeremy Renner.
You guys didn't get the reference. MASH.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't catch that one.
Oh, good old
It did
MASH.
take me a second until
It was the Korean War, right?
They're like, no, it was Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah,
that explains.
was it Vietnam?
Yeah, MASH was Vietnam.
It was Vietnam.
Okay, that I was wrong. Okay.
So,
It was-
but yeah, he was a medic. So
They're like, we're gonna do a comedy in Nam,
yeah.
and it worked.
Oh, that was so sad though. The ending of that show was absolutely horrible. I mean, well, not horrible.
Don't spoil the ending
was
of
sad,
MASH. Don't
sad.
spoil the ending of MASH.
No,
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I would never
What?
spoil
I don't
it.
think I want to see it.
You've never seen MASH?
The man who brought up MASH has never seen MASH.
I've seen MASH. I
You haven't
haven't
seen-
seen all of it.
Do
Yeah,
it.
the ending of it is really, really sad. I'll just leave it at that. It's very, very sad. It brought it all to a very good close. But speaking of bringing it to a close, you know, people looked at that show as hero status. They looked at that as something that they could turn to, and that's essentially what a hero is something that somebody that you can turn to in your time of need, whether it's, you know, looking for somebody with super strength to save the day, whether it's looking somebody to bring you joy as Robin Williams, or, you know, to bring us that you know, childhood memories as Kevin Conroy, or you know, Tommy from, you know, the Green Ranger. And I forgot, I hate that I forgot his name.
It's Tommy, the Green Ranger.
Jason David Frank.
Jason David Frank. Thank you. For some reason that slipped my mind because I knew it was a David, another David, you know, but
Yeah. I had to think about that for it wasn't even that long ago that he passed.
right.
I had to think about it.
You know, but it's like that brings us that childhood memories, that brings us that sense of, you know, safety as a child, you know, being able to watch these people, or, you know, if it's the musical status like David Grohl, you know, or people like that, you know, whatever it is that we're looking for that hero status. And whether it is that we're looking for a hero, we're wanting to be one, which, you know, Noah, I could be your hero, baby.
Can you take away the pain?
I could take away the pain.
Thank you.
Yes. Enrique Iglesias.
You don't know Enrique?
I've never met him. No.
No,
Cringe.
probably not missing much. In fact, I think that's the only song that I know of his.
He was in How I Met Your Mother one time. That's about all
Was
I know.
he?
Yeah.
Hmm.
He played you've seen How I
Yeah.
Met Your Mother, right?
Yeah.
He played Robin Scherbatsky's like Argentinian boyfriend.
That's right.
And he's like, experience your food.
yes.
And she's like, that got real annoying real fast.
Yes, I do remember that. So whether we're looking for a hero, wanting to be one, or just wanting to eat the sandwich,
Mhm.
the need for a hero is out there, and it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. So I leave you guys with this: be the hero you want to be. You know, now don't go running out and trying to stop a bus with your shoulder. But you know,
Please-
you wanna,
please do that.
Please don't.
Please do that.
If you do, post it to our TikTok page so we can watch.
We are not legally liable for anything stupid you do.
That is true. That is very true. But if you guys want to see change in this world, be the change. Be the hero that you want to be. So, again, I had fun with this one. I thank everybody for listening to it. Again, my name is John.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Noah.
Thanks for listening.